Oh, okay. Namaste. Okay. Oh, Paloma raised her hand. Oh, what am I doing? Why is Paloma raising her hand? What the heck? Wait. I knew I was gonna screw this up. Okay, wait, hang on. Can you not come on here like on video? I swear I said panelists can join via video. Okay, maybe not. Hang on. Okay. Ugh. Okay, let me see. Video settings. No, participants. Oh. Okay, I'm not gonna mute you. That's not what I'm trying to do. Okay, allow participants to unmute themselves. Okay, raise hand. How the hell do I, okay. Mute participants. No, I don't want to do that. I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, attendees. Paloma. Oh, allowed to talk. Oh, allowed to talk is not available because Paloma Lev is using an older version of Zoom. Choose promote to a panelist to allow her to talk. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, you've been promoted to panelist.
Oh
Oh my god. What the heck? It was like Paloma has to be a panelist.
I felt like I was on like one of those like webcam things where you're like, you have like a cam girl and you're like the creepy masturbator because you can't see me, but I can see you.
I didn't even know either, and I don't know how long you were watching, but like Danielle came in and I was like, what are you doing in here? Because I was like, don't draw off my focus. Oh my god.
Oh Lord. Hey girl.
Hi. Are you wearing rambunctious red? Because that's what people voted on.
So I was wearing pink before and then I slapped on some red on top, so it's called Random Mix of Shit.
Or like Rink.
Rink by Revlon. Maybe she was born with it.
That sounds high end.
Thank you so much.
On brand.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Are you sitting in front of a fan? You look like kind of Beyonce right
You know, I'm not gonna lie, like yes, I am. Just for my like
Is it hot, like disgustingly hot there? Because it's
I just wanted some wind in my hair.
okay. It looks very authentic. Very authentic.
I have my sister in front of me blowing on me. I just she can make herself useful,
She have like the big jungle leaves, like on her knees.
I wanted to make it hard for her, so I just gave her a small leaf and asked her to, just really get it really hard.
Yeah. Well, you look pretty.
Oh, thank you so much. We're just talking model face, but thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm late for literally every single live stream I try to schedule. That's why I never.
But it's like you gotta keep them waiting. They get like so excited.
I know. And like people in my group, luckily it goes that route and they get excited rather than like what the hell is going on. But every time I have like an event scheduled, I'm like fashionably 25 minutes late. And they're always, and people like post in the event page, like they're active. They're like posting that page like, is it still happening? What's going on? And I'm like, oh, good Lord. So they're probably, I don't know, I haven't even checked. I can't even begin to tell you. So I didn't get to breastfeed. I really appreciate the offer though to take a shift.
I honestly feel like I could. I literally feel like my boobs, I don't know why they've just grown.
Yeah.
And it's like you could take a shift if you want. So
it's probably breast milk. I mean that's
probably why my boobs have grown.
It's really the only logical.
It's just all the not sex I've been having is probably filling up my boobs.
Probably. You probably already had a baby, didn't even realize. And now your boobs are full of milk. So yeah.
I just not eating a lot of fiber, but that's great.
It's the fiber.
We need to do like behind the scenes thing. That'd be funny. This fan is literally making me cry. Like it's like, yeah, it is kind of like warm, but like it does have that added benefit of like,
Yeah. No, it looks. I was like when your face came on, it was like, and I was like, oh, she's making a dramatic entrance. I was like,
oh Lord.
yeah, so it's disgustingly hot in here, and if you see me like start to, I don't know, kind of get red, it's probably because I'm having a hot flash, because
Like,
that
okay,
happens
now
after.
we're all blot.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I had to wear also, like, I had to wear a black shirt because so I didn't have time to breastfeed. So Daniel bottle fed her with my breast milk, but I didn't get to release the milk, that means. So like all the milk builds up, so my boobs are like rock hard and I'll probably start leaking like during this live stream.
I think you should tell people that. Honestly, I think they need it. Like, people are like dying to see that, like, behind the scenes stuff. Like,
I know. I haven't like, I don't know. I shared like my labor story, and that was like, even that was, I was like, oh, it was.
I
It
would
was
like would love to like ask you a couple questions on cam before we start. That'd be fun.
okay. All right.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm up for it. And like, I feel very scattered, a little bit scattered. I just literally finished the opt-in page for the wait list.
I am so here for you. Seriously, like, you don't have to be on. We'll be on together and we'll like kind of guide it. I know you've like done a lot of life giving.
I just feel very like I've planned more in the last couple of days than I've planned in the last month of my life.
Yeah.
But I still feel like really scattered. And I don't know, I feel like I haven't actively sold things for like a month now. And now I'm like, I'm selling again. I don't have weird things around sales, but it's kind of like feeling, I don't know. It's just, I got off the horse for a while and I was like, oh, now I'm like.
You just say to yourself, like, you're just giving in a bigger way. You're just giving. Like, the truth is, like, I always think of it like this, like, money's like a commodity, you know? And to be able to have the kind of experience of being in a group of people who like love you and support you and care for you. Like, I was just talking to Amanda Rivera, who's in our little female influencer squad.
Yeah.
And it was just so good just to talk to like a female entrepreneur friend. And like, that's such a huge value, is just literally like the therapy of someone being like, I got your back. Even if it's no tactics, no strategies, whatever, it's like, I got your back. I feel you. I know that it's hard, but I'm with you, is so enough. And I know like whoever it is that gets to experience this is gonna love it and be so happy with it. And it's just a bigger give, you know?
Yeah. It's also like, because you pushed me to sell it at a higher price point than I probably ever would have.
Yeah.
So there's that, and I'm like, but it feels good. It feels really good. It feels like a challenge in a way. But
and the worst thing that could happen is like, what would be like the worst that could happen? Like, nobody gets in.
Nobody signs up. That's the worst. And I've already told myself, I'm like, the worst thing that happens is nobody signs up, and I don't do it.
And that's okay. That's okay. Like, honestly, whatever happens is good.
Yeah. But I have a good feeling about it. I have a really good feeling. And what else was I going to say? The only thing, I didn't get a chance to ask you about this or your thoughts because time, but on the opt-in page or on the waitlist opt-in page, it's really good. I love it. It's very simple, but I didn't put the actual price on the page.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. I've done it both ways, like for different products and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just didn't. And I'm
it's
like,
a thing. I mean,
yeah.
One thing that it's funny, last night when I couldn't fall asleep, I was thinking about you and this project, and I was thinking like the pre-qualifying survey needs to make it pretty clear, like, this is expensive.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because when I was having lunch in New York with that guy, what's his name? Arye? I don't know how to say his name properly.
Oh, yeah.
He and I had lunch there. We were talking, and he had just mentioned you and your work and stuff like that. And he's like a high level, you know, person who's done projects with all of the ClickFunnels people, whatever. And the good thing is, I think that perhaps some people in your market too are not just like the newbies.
Yeah, they're not.
I think the people like who ought to take advantage of this are some people who've been in the game a little bit longer. And you know what else? Like, I'm so happy to help you. I think that'd be really fun if we make like a joint little like 2-minute video that we put in people's inboxes. Because when I was doing my beta launch, I just did literally a 30-second pitch and I private messaged it to people one by one.
Okay.
And basically I said to them, like, look, you have 24 hours to let me know if you want in on this. If you were paying Paloma and my rate combined, you would be paying over, let's say, $20,000.
Yeah.
this is like 2 simple payments of $3,500 or whatever it is.
Yep.
Like, I think that it's better to say like 2 payments of,
Yep.
rather than the number, the number. And I think that we can just say like throughout, like, look, this is going to be expensive. This is the kind of thing that you do want to like go all in on, like that there are moments in your life where like you're being called to step up for something really big. And the more skin you have in the game, the more you're gonna, you're gonna appreciate it. And yeah, like the worst thing that happens, like we get no people, fine. Mm-hmm. We don't have to do anything. We get 1 person, we give them all of our love.
Yeah.
We get 2 people, great. Yeah. Like any scenario is totally fine. Plus, even just the mental hurdle of realizing that I said that number, it's the same thing as when that person came to you and they were like, how much for the hour, and you just said $1,000 and then they paid it. It reaches like a new level of conviction and normalcy of like, now this is my new normal. Because once I did a $5,000 or once, I wasn't going to lower my price and say, okay, $1,000. I wasn't going to negotiate on that. It's like when you negotiate your salary, like you can't go down in your salary. You're like, well, last year I got paid this.
Yeah.
And plus, if you know that you're going into like making online assets, the worst that happens is like, hey, I'm having like what's that tour? Like when there's like a, like Led Zeppelin's like, I'm never performing again. And then 10 years later, he's like, okay, maybe 1 more show.
That's what I made a joke about that in my one post in the group. I was like, unlike bands whose farewell tours aren't really farewells, this really is mine. But in the back of my head, I was like,
but there's no promises. Like, it's not your fault if people are banging down your door and being like, we want more, we want an encore. Like, what they want.
Right. I know. I told myself that. I'm like, do I say it's my last one? Like, but as of right now, I'm 110%. Like, that is that is true. So
yeah. And sometimes burning the bridges a little bit like helps like light a fire under our ass of like, this is what I really want for myself.
Yeah. And I feel good about it. I'm just
Plus, you can always throw it in later. Plus, you can throw it in and be like, you know what, I'm going to give you a half hour of me here and there if you want to. But then it'll be always an extra, and it'll be like, wow, she's not doing coaching anymore, but she's doing this little bit for me,
Yeah. I've already had, like, it's so weird. I've already had my past clients, like, when they heard the announcement, they're like, so I can never talk to you again? It's like there was this, like, fear that was injected into them. Like, oh, my God, I don't have access to you at all, like, a call or anything. And I'm like, I guess this is a mindset thing for myself. I'm like, people still want.
I know. And you know what's crazy? Because sometimes we don't feel like, and I feel the same way sometimes. It's like, we don't feel like there's a net under us. Mm-hmm. And then only when our back's to the wall, we're like, shit, people do know who I am. People do care, And I think like it might be worth, because it's more expensive, having a couple hurdles that they have to go through.
Yeah.
Like the wait list is a good one. But even if there's like a little form for the wait list, of like, do you know that this is expensive? Yes. Like, what are your top 3 reasons for wanting to get in? And why should Lauren and Paloma pick you as opposed to all the other applicants?
Yeah.
I actually have a video somewhere in my course I can send you on making a type form or an entrance survey that increases their desire.
Okay.
Because if they have to, like, once they get the wait list, they have to, maybe like a 3-question form.
Yeah.
But it's just like increasing consent, increasing.
Would that be, okay, so I finished, I wish I would have had time to show you, but it's a simple opt-in to get on the wait list. Yeah. And then the first email I could send them could be that, like the survey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you want to, like, secure your chances, or like, or you can just tell everyone you have to do this, because the more people that say, yes, I want in, and also you got to tell them, like, a lot of times, like, this is expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive. And then some anchoring of, like, I would find some, like, big people out there and be like, Frank Curran has his mastermind at $50K.
Yeah.
And Tony Robbins does $1 million a year.
Yeah.
And so if you expect, like, it is a high level thing, don't be expecting to pay in the hundreds. I just want to make sure that we're talking the same numbers. We're talking in the many thousands.
Yeah.
Just so that they're not surprised. And then at that point, when maybe there's like a final interview or a final audition, and I'm happy to do those with you and really just, like, give them a little bit of pushback of, like, why are you the right person? We're not just looking for any people. Everybody has money, but why are you the right person to be in this final farewell tour kind of thing?
Yeah. And I've never really, like, of course, I've had my whole application process for my one-on-ones, but I've never really stood in that. I don't know. I've never really done it from that point of view where I'm like, why? Like, I've never really interviewed them. It's more been like they filled out my application. I was like, okay, I like you. Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like this is going to be very much prove to me why you should pick you. Which feels weird to me still because I'm like, because
I know.
you know what I mean? Because I'm not that kind of person.
Number one thing that like changes the game when you start to realize like you're the prize. There's seriously one of you.
Yeah.
And what's your group right now? Like almost 5,000 people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like it's all about scarcity.
Yeah.
There's one of you. You've built this rapport with them. They love you. They know you. They trust you. You've built a wonderful brand around yourself in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
And it's like it's such a privilege for them to be able to be close to people who've achieved some level of greatness in and of itself is a big give.
Yeah.
You know? I think like I've even started to think of it like people who get to be my friends, that's a privilege. Like people who like earlier on in my life were my friends just because we went to high school together. For me, that's not a reason anymore to be friends with them. It's like, are you aligned? Do you want to give? Are you loving? Like, do you have goals? All these things. And so I do think it's pretty magical to just like give of yourself, and we're going to lovingly support that. And we can talk about like the genesis of this and maybe a little bit why it's the last thing and what our intention is with this program and who this is for and who this is not for. Like we can have one that's just centered on what this program is and what are the thoughts behind it. And we can tell them like, this is what I call a maybe no, a little bit of pushback where we say, this is not for you if. Like, don't even bother getting on the wait list if you're not the kind of person who invests in yourself. Don't even bother getting on the wait list if you, if you're not going to commit and show up, and all of that makes them want it more.
Yeah. Cause they're like, no, I am. No, I do. No. Yeah.
Yes. And then you kind of like lean out and they lean in.
Yeah.
But we could definitely do, this one could be just more like a general talk about, what we talk about.
Yeah. I just want it to be like, I want to really warm them up to you. I really want you to just be yourself,
we like played a game where we just like asked each other like questions about our lives. That might be interesting.
Yeah. I want to do that. I want to do, talk to them about, specifically obviously about sales and a little bit of high ticket. The way I've like launched everything in the past, my group has literally been like 3 to 5 day trainings where I just pitch after every single one of them. And after every single one of them, I get sales or like if it's for my course, that's just what's worked the best for me.
Yeah.
And I called this a training. I mean, we can make it interview style / training, whatever, but I definitely want to, lead into the pitch at the end. And I've already been talking about it for the last 3 days. So they already know the name of it. They know like the awareness is up. So
And what would be the call to action is saying to them, like, cause the wait list is not yet ready, right?
It is. I finished it.
Ready. Okay, amazing. So we're literally just giving them the link to the wait list.
Yeah. So I'm going to have it. So I'm going to share this. I'm going to go live. I'm going to have the link like copied and ready to just paste. Cause that's what I have always done. That's worked really well is I'll just drop the link to whatever I'm selling, like while I'm live. And then things happen while I'm live. Some people like leave the live stream and just like, go buy or go do whatever.
Should it be like also potentially like in the title of the live stream? Like should it?
So I do that. So actually a big hack for that is going back and doing it afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise they don't stick around.
Yeah. So I let it sit for like, I don't know, 4 or 6 hours. I'll like let the live stream sit and kind of soak up more engagement and replay viewers and whatever. And then add whatever link afterwards, because if you add it before, Facebook thinks you're just right away trying to get people off the platform, so they reduce the reach.
Okay, totally. Yeah. That's good. Okay, great. That's wonderful. Okay, let's do it.
I just got to tell, Daniel's amazing. He's tagging, this is why we're also going to get a lot of engagement, hopefully, is because he tags everybody that RSVP'd. So there's like 41 people that RSVP'd, so he's going to tag all of them.
Amazing.
Daniel? You hear me? Okay, we're gonna go in like 2. We're going now. He was like bottle feeding her, and then he's like, "How much time do I have?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
Have they seen her before, like live?
No, not my main group. I just showed my students in a 2-minute live stream literally this morning. I just briefly showed them her and they were like, Stella! I was like, oh my gosh. So no. Are you gonna ask me that? If you ask me, if you ask me if you're like, Lauren, go get your baby, I'll be like,
No, I won't.
okay.
But I want to know some other stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Let me figure out how to do this because I haven't done this forever. So, okay, I bet a bunch of people. Oh my god, I have like 50 notifications. They're probably like, "Where are you?" Okay, live on Facebook. Okay, choose where to post your video. Share in a group. Okay. Entrepreneur lifestyle. Next, what was the title that I named the event? Oh, how to sell with badass confidence and conviction. That's what it was.
It says we're streaming. Is it live?
Almost. So it takes me to the group. So now I need to write the title and then I click go live and then we'll be live.
Okay. And I can't share out of your group, right?
No, unfortunately.
Why do you do in your group versus on your wall? Is it just because those are more selected people?
Pretty much because, yeah, just because my group has been the place where I don't know, where people know me the most. Although, like, I used to be all on my personal page, and then I just stopped doing a lot of business stuff there.
Yeah.
Not intentionally, but I don't know, I just have more fun in my group.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I've thought of that, though, that I should probably maybe a couple times do it from my personal page and share.
I find when I do it on my personal page, I get like at least 10, 15 people more.
Yeah.
Just because we have more, well, not necessarily have more numbers though, because you have around 5K in your group and you might not have all of your peeps as Facebook friends.
Right. I'm constantly kind of like creepy though, where I add them. Oh, can I hear you? Wait, are you there?
Hey.
Oh, okay. Okay. I am almost live. Say hi when you come on. Okay. I'm just adding emojis. Okay.
Emojis are the most important part.
I know, seriously. Engagement is way higher. Sorry, Daniel, we're almost ready. Okay. Let's see. He's probably like, what the heck? Okay, go live. We're gonna go live. Okay, hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Entrepreneur Lifestyle and Personal Branding Group. My name is Lauren. I'm leader of this community, and today I'm super excited to bring on a guest expert. I told you guys I was bringing somebody in, and we are going to talk sales. We're going to talk confidence. We're going to talk about how you can sell your offers more confidently and how you can really sell with conviction. So this is somebody who's a dearest friend of mine. She is a sought after sales strategist and she teaches entrepreneurs and experts and leaders how to sell more of their stuff with confidence. So that's what we're going to talk about. And as always, if you are live with us now, type hashtag team live in the comments. If you're on the replay, comment hashtag team replay. So it looks like Daniel's tagging some people. Awesome. Paloma, welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Lauren, I love you and I'm so freaking excited. Hi everybody.
Is there a way to like split screen? Because I don't think we're split screen right now.
Yeah. Okay, wait.
Let's see.
I think if you click gallery view.
Oh, that's what I wanted. Yay. Okay. And guys, for those of you guys that voted on what shade of lipstick you wanted Paloma to wear, she took a shortcut and she was wearing pink before and she just put red over the top. So she kind of created her own shade.
And yes, guys, that is a wind machine. It just follows me around, so.
Yes. So I'm going to be looking at comments on my phone. So we're on my laptop right now. I'm going to look at comments on my phone and keep up with you guys, answer questions. We'll do like a Q&A session at the end. I always love doing those, Paloma. So we'll do like a Q&A session just for you guys to answer or to have any questions answered on sales and confidence and whatnot. Let me see. Let me do some shout outs. Who's here? Hey, Amanda, what's up? Thank you for tagging people, Daniel. Hey, Bonnie, what's up? Bonnie's like, cool wind machine.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Hey, Melissa, what's up? Cool. We have like 10 people on. Awesome. First of all, before we dive into stuff, Paloma, can you actually share your story a little bit? Because we talk about that in here a lot.
Love to. Okay, friends. So basically, I teach people in high school how to sell more drugs. So that's what I do. Yeah. Any other questions? No, so I, surprisingly enough, okay, people who know me now think that it's kind of crazy, but when I was a kid, I was not confident at all. In fact, I was super freaking shy, okay? One of 4 sisters, the second one. And my mama just so happened to be a marketing coach, okay? Now, she was not always a marketing coach. She had an interesting career progression. She used to be a lawyer. And as she tells the story, she left law for the limelight. And she became a singer, an actress, a comedian, a performer. She had a music CD. She had a book. And I'm like this like shy kid growing up, watching my mom really follow her dreams, right? I don't know if you guys can relate going from something like good and stable and comfortable to really just being like, this is who I am. And from there, she had so many of her friends in business be like, yo, Sufi, she has like a weird name. That's her name, guys. It means hummingbird in Hebrew. She's like, hey, Sufi, how did you get so much publicity? Because back in the olden days, we had this thing called newspapers. Don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but she was like in all the newspapers and the magazines, blah, blah. So she started coaching her friends in business how to use showbiz techniques to attract rather than chase clients. So fast forward to when I'm 19 years old, and my mama says to me on one fateful day, we were just like snuggling on her bed, and she was like, Paloma, I'm going to a conference in Chicago. Do you want to come? And I had never been on a plane before, and I'm like, yeah, I do. And I was just like in it for that deep dish pizza life. You know how it is. And so we went to this conference. Have you guys ever heard of the legend marketer, Dan Kennedy? It was his conference. What? Hey, Dan, I know you're watching this right now. You're so attractive. You're so smart. We love you. And he has like sideburns that are very large. Like if you're watching, Dan, I like your sideburns. If you're not watching, they're a little tacky, not gonna lie. But yeah, so my mind was blown, guys. My mind was blown. I don't know if you've ever had this experience where you're with your people, right? Like maybe you're like one of those like weird anime people, no offense if you're into anime, and you're like, you finally like get into this place that everyone's like wearing like a Pokemon outfit. You're like, that's my people. For me, being in a room of like obnoxious marketers, everyone was like too intense, too loud, had so many ideas, were like, conspiring to take over the world through persuasion, rhetoric, language, communication. Like for me, it was like my crack, okay? And that conference totally changed my life. It really showed me that this whole entrepreneurship thing was really possible. And from then, my mama downloaded with like a mental USB to me everything that she knew about like marketing and sales. And I would listen at her door. She's really like my hero. She's remarkable. But I would listen at her door to her sales calls. And oh my God, like I would literally, it was probably pretty creepy, and I don't know how kosher this was, but like my ear was like to the door and every objection was like obliterated, and by the end she'd have their credit card information. It was a done deal, and she would come out. I would just like clap for her, be like, Mom, like you're my hero. And so I learned a ton from her, and then I started meeting more and more and more entrepreneurs. And I've been coaching on sales and confidence ever since because it was a skill that I learned the hard way. Confidence is a skill, and I didn't have it when I was younger. But it was a really interesting progression, and I so love helping incredible people to really step into their confidence.
first of all, I have to say, like, I absolutely love your story because of who your role model was. So I think it's super, super cool for you because you had family who was your role model. And like, you come from somewhat of an entrepreneurial family, whereas me, like, I'm the first entrepreneur in my whole family. So it's like, nope, I didn't know anybody that was like, was an entrepreneur. And you're like, my mom was this like, you know, goddess, sales goddess, which is insane and amazing. So, but it's really interesting for me too, because like a lot of people, like if I were to meet you for the first time, I would have never, ever, 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 ever thought that you were unconfident.
Yeah.
And like, and even people who meet me for the first time or like see one of my live streams, they just assume like, oh, Lauren's so good at Facebook Lives. She's always been so good at Facebook Lives. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about telling entrepreneurs, like, you have to tell your backstory, because a lot of people will meet you for the first time and just assume that you've always been successful, or you've always been at the top, or you've always been, you know, amazing at your craft. If you don't tell like what you just said, right? If you don't sit down and say like, hey guys, I used to be this shy, super awkward teenager with pimples, like they would never know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's so true. And you know, the crazy thing is, like, my mom actually broke it down for me as a process. She was like, confidence is the kind of thing that you can learn. It's not that you're confident or not confident. It's a skill like any other, you know? And it was life-changing for me, because the cool thing is, when you as leaders, and I imagine we have a lot of awesome leaders watching right now, when you really step into your confidence, that's what your people are dying for. And they get to plug themselves into your confidence. It's like their training wheels until the point that they can fire you and they can move on and they can fly and they can do it by themselves.
Yeah. What do you feel? Actually, I'm just going to share. So like, some people, if you've been in this group for a while, like if you've been in this group since I opened it, you probably have seen me progress quite a bit, as far as like who I was when I opened the group and who I am now. And I just want to put this out there. One of the biggest things I struggled with as far as confidence when I first started this current coaching business that I have was selling, like just in general. Like I actually used to think of selling as taking rather than selling as giving. And I feel like that's one of the biggest maybe problems that I see out there with entrepreneurs, is that they have this like mindset around selling where they think they're taking something from people. And that's what I felt like. So I was super unconfident with just like pitching in general. I just felt super uncomfortable, like, in the realm of just selling things to people, even though I knew I was really good at what I did, even though I knew that I had skills that were in demand that could benefit people. It was still just it was a confidence issue. Right. So I'm just curious, guys, for those of you guys that are watching, there's like 25 people on. What is your guys', hey guys, what is your, like, let's just open up here for a second. What is kind of your biggest, I don't want to say issue. I mean, we all have issues, but what is your biggest
issue?
What are your issues? That's like the worst market research question you could ever
No,
ask.
Lauren, that's amazing. We should do issues hour and then be like, share your baggage. Drop some baggage in the comments below.
Yeah.
And we'll publicly talk about it.
What are your issues? That's the best. If you need to get to know your ideal client, just go, but actually go post it in a random Facebook group. It's not yours, and say, hey coaches, what are your biggest?
Go in the ClickFunnels group. They really like that. They really like that. What are your issues? Yeah,
that would go really, really well.
Call your pain points. Hey guys, I was just wondering, what are your top 3 pain points? Question.
But the thing is, I see those questions. Like, I actually see those. Like, people actually go out and ask those questions. Anyways, okay, let's see. So, we got some good ones coming in. So, Michael said, I wouldn't say I'm confident, but I'm awkward as F. I think all of us online entrepreneurs, like, I think we're all a little bit awkward, and that's why we're online entrepreneurs.
I literally worked with this client this morning, and I don't know if you ever have this, but when you're like really excited, like you can't, and on Zoom, it's like, I don't know who's talking now. And like at a certain point, she was like, I feel like we're both talking at the exact same time. I was like, I'm sorry, can we just both talk at the same time? I'll listen and talk and you listen and talk. Cause like, I'm so freaking excited about this. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen.
That's when it's really awkward there. If you are on a call, that's happened multiple times with me where I'm like on a call and I can't tell like if we're talking at the same time, if I'm talking over her, I'm like, this is really awkward. I'm just gonna shut up for a minute because I don't know who's talking and if you can even hear me.
Oh my God.
Okay, let's see. Michael said, so yeah, he said he's awkward as F. Yeah, my answer to that, Michael, is that I honestly think all online entrepreneurs are a little awkward because I mean, why can't we have regular businesses where we meet people on a day-to-day basis? We have time online, yeah, because we're all a little awkward. Let's see. Anita said I am not confident pitching. Okay. Mark said, oh man, two super badass businesswomen. Hey Mark, what's up?
Thanks, Mark.
Lelane's like, my baggage is I'm often too good at everything I do.
Lelaine, let me speak to this for a second. Do you know how difficult it is every day waking up perfect and then being in an imperfect world where people are like, tone it down, and you're like, I'm too skinny, I'm too well, you know, Lauren, what it's like to just like,
it really weighs on you when people are just like, you're just too perfect. That's probably what Elaine gets told every single morning. Actually, I know that because she's my client. She tells me that her husband just tells her every day she's way too perfect and way too good for him. And
I think that might be a sneaky way of like trying to find his way out. Be like, you're too good for me. Just go find another husband.
It's like, no, honey, you don't get out. You're not getting out that easy.
Yeah, it's till death do us part. Okay, I'm not leaving.
Oh, this is so good. Okay, let's see. I feel like we should just have a talk show. Amanda said, okay, my main confidence issues. Guys, I'm so proud of you guys. We're really like, people are just like, here's my baggage. Here's my issues.
You know how important that is, that kind of self-awareness of knowing what your shit is? That's why I fucking love entrepreneurs. Yeah. You ask a regular person, like, so, like, what's wrong with you? They're like, I don't know, the world's just a mean, cruel place. If you ask an entrepreneur, you'd be like, I have commitment issues, my organization, this. And you think that we're worse? We're just more self-aware. We could lay it out on the table. Here's my baggage.
Yeah, 100%. And that's something that I actually, just thinking about it, that's something that I attribute to just who I am today and how fast I have grown. It comes down to self-awareness and actually actively sitting down, like at least once a week, I sit down and I'm like, okay, why is this annoying me? Why is this making me feel this way? Like there's so much self-awareness that goes on when you are your own boss, at least for me. Like, yeah, that's a really good point. One of the things, oh, thanks for all the hearts, guys. I think people are agreeing. Okay. And I'll just share like one of my, I guess since we're on the issues, or since we're on the topic of issues.
So we haven't talked about on the issue of issues.
The issue of issues. That's such a good title.
And literally just like every week people have bigger and bigger issues.
They just build up and then
they don't progress. They just
they don't get better. It's not like Dr. Phil. It's just like your issues get bigger and bigger every week. Horrible. We'd get like 0-star rating from Rotten Tomatoes. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So one of my biggest things my biggest issue as an entrepreneur is that I'm way too hard on myself. Like my expectations. Like here's something here's an example. So like I gave birth 2 weeks ago, literally 2 weeks ago today. And like a week after I gave birth, I was like, all right, back to business. And then I had like family members who were like, I had 12 weeks before I went outside or before I did these things, but that's not how my brain works. It's like my biggest weakness is also my strength. So like I'm very, very, I have these very high expectations of myself. You know what I mean? So just putting that out there while we're on the topic of issues. Yeah. So let's see. Let's answer some more issues. Okay. So Amanda said, my main confidence issue comes from my weight. I know that I'm amazeballs at the stuff I do, but part of my mind tries to convince me that nobody will trust me to help them because I'm not ideal enough for them to want to be me. I know it's weird, but that's how my brain works. It's something I've been working on. What would you say to that, Miss Confidence Queen?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, there will be a lot of people out there who will give you the shitty, mean advice. Just get over yourself. which sucks and doesn't feel good. Sometimes it is a progression to get more comfortable with something. But the weird thing is we live in this society that's constantly policing us, right? The truth is, like, when you look at kids, they're pretty freaking confident. It's like, who's good at singing? I'm amazing. Who's good at coloring? He's like, I'm amazing at coloring, right? But then you get older and then it's like, who's good at singing? And you're like, nobody. You're like, oh, I suck at this. I suck at this. The truth is, it's just an internalization of external policing, right? And so I'll just tell you, I think what really, really, really helps this is a kind of vulnerability with people who deserve it. So not everyone is deserving of your vulnerability. There are a lot of people who don't have the emotional intelligence to sensitively and lovingly handle your stuff. But there are other people in this world. It's probably the most beautiful feeling in the world, the me too, I get you kind of thing. And I was so, privileged. This is my third female influencer friend of the day that I'm spending my day with. And that we can just say, this is my thing and put it on the table. I'll tell you guys, when I was younger, I had a root canal on my front tooth, and it's a little bit grayer than the other tooth. And I was mortified about this for so long. And it's funny how different things in life like change your perspectives, because when I would say that to someone, they'd be like, oh, I didn't even notice that. My little sister struggled with acne, and it was like and she's like, honestly, like looks like Mila Kunis. Like, she's sexy as fuck, if I may say that about my little sister. She just is. Look her up. And it's like, for her, she was every morning, like she would feel really depressed about it. And for me, I was like, you're gorgeous. I mean, that's not the first thing that I see. And so it's funny, but like I used to be, nervous about like wearing shorts because I had like a couple like little varicose veins on my leg. I was like, oh, that's so embarrassing. Then I broke my knee and I had knee surgery, and they like slashed my leg open like twice to do surgery on me. And suddenly I have this like big ass scar there, and these tiny little like whatevers don't make such a big difference, Mm-hmm. So one is a little bit of like context of realizing like there are, for everything that you find embarrassing, I promise you the people that you look up to are really struggling too. And not that it makes it necessarily better. It's not a kind of get over yourself kind of thing, but just to realize that the people who are doing a great job in this life of putting themselves out there and being confident and helping people and loving people and, really connecting, it's not because they don't have the shit. I think that one of the most healing things for my clients in our one-on-one sessions is they'll be like, I'm struggling with this. I'm like, let me tell you about when I struggled with that. Like, and they'll be so surprised about that. And I'm like, it's acting in face of that and realizing like, I would really love you to accept me. I would really love you to like me. I would really love you to want me. I would really love you to XYZ. But at the end of the day, there's a very big difference between an external version of confidence. Like, I mean, my version of confidence might be loud, but there's also quiet confidence that's pretty freaking beautiful, right? Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's like, it doesn't have to be like loud and showy and wind blowing in your hair, whatever. Like, you can be your version of confident, but just know that all of the people, like, you look at like someone like Tony Robbins, whether you like him or you don't like him, you find him cheesy or whatever. He's gone through like incredible abuse and trauma and pain, and all of the best of the best. I'm no exception. I think any of you guys who are listening, who are excellent experts, you've suffered to learn the thing that you've learned. You've paid for your gifts, I've been through some painful shit in my life too. And all of that stuff is what has made me good. It's not that I'm good in spite of it. The reason that I love so deeply is because of the pain I've been through, And so just to realize like your gifts cluster around your traumas and your pains. And there are people in this life who kind of live a sort of, chill, mediocre life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a lot of the times it's because with the up extreme, it all balances itself out. If you've had extreme pain, you have extreme insight, extreme wisdom. And just to give yourself the love and validation that you wish that you had externally. Easier said than done, of course, but it will never fill you up what other people say about you. It's just like you can't. I was watching the Emmys at the gym the other day. I was on the elliptical, like level 3, on a slight incline, And this one actor was saying something like, oh my God, this is the biggest moment in my career. This is the most amazing thing ever. And I was thinking, like, you can't make the external validation the biggest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, because first of all, it might never come, and you have to still be satisfied with the process. But two, like, you need to fucking clap for your own damn self. Like, I was talking to the grocery store dude the other day, Dario, shout out, I love you, you're so hot. And he literally was like, we'd been friends for like a couple of months. He didn't know what I do for work. And then suddenly we started talking, and he's like, oh, I had no idea. Like, that's really cool. And I said, I do a lot of my projects quietly.
Yeah.
I walk to the bank quietly. I pat myself on the back quietly, because you can't be shouting it from the rooftops and be like, someone clapped for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I remember telling my dad when I got into my master's program, I did a creative writing master's, and I was like, he's like 63-year-old Romanian dude. Any Romanian fathers out there, drop a gift. And legit, like, you know what it's like, friends. And I was like, Dad, I got into this amazing master's program that accepts only 7 people around the world every year. Like, I'm so excited. And he's like, yes, but Paloma, what are you going to do with it? And I'm like, I don't know. And then fast forward 2 years later, and like, even through the trials and tribulations of breaking my knee, 2 knee surgeries, being a teaching assistant, all this stuff, I finished on time with my peers, etc. I was like, Dad, guess what? I graduated. I did this hard, amazing program. He's like, yes, but what will you do with it? Like, literally. It's just like, it's such a reminder, like, you gotta be proud of yourself. You gotta give yourself that love. You know?
And like, yeah, and I just want to piggyback off that before mom brain takes, or baby brain takes over, and I forget what I was going to say. But what I've said to myself, and what I say to a lot of my clients and students, is you have to be your own cheerleader. Like, you've got to be your own cheerleader. If not all the time, you got to be your own cheerleader sometimes. You got to be your own number one fan sometimes, because, like, I know there's a lot of people in here, and, you know, maybe it was you at one point, Paloma. It was definitely me, where I didn't have my network. I didn't have people surrounding me who just got me, right? Who, like your dad, like, I didn't have people who just got it, or who understood it, or even see my vision of like where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do with my company. And like, I didn't have anybody like that around me. So it was really, really hard. And I would not be here today if I hadn't said, well, I'm still going to do me. And like, I know I'm still good at what I'm doing. I'm still going to push forward. I'm still going to just cheer for myself, you know, woohoo. Like, you got to do it sometimes. So yeah,
legit, my dad still wants me to be a dentist. Like, literally, because he was one. So then he was like, Paloma, I don't know what you're doing playing around on the internet, but why don't you become a dentist? I'm like, Dad, thank you for knowing me. I appreciate it. You know my soul, Dad. But like, everyone, here's the thing. Everyone has a vision for you, but nobody is going to negotiate as amazing a deal for you as you're going to negotiate for yourself, because the deals that they want to negotiate for you are limited by all of their anxieties and their traumas and their issues and their baggage and their limiting beliefs. Yep. If they say to you, Lauren, you can't do it, that just means that they can't do it. It doesn't mean that you can't do it.
This recently came up. I don't remember if it was in a client call or a comment I saw somewhere. Maybe it was in my student group. I don't remember, but there was some conversation around somebody feeling really, really bad, an entrepreneur feeling bad about kind of being, I don't want to say attacked, but kind of attacked by somebody on social media. And my response to them was, whenever somebody openly comes out and explains their doubts about you, you know, or their opinions about you, it's always a reflection of themselves. It's always an internal doubt that they have in themselves. It's, if they're telling you that, you know, I don't know, that you're going to fail and that you're not going to make it, it's because they don't believe that for themselves. Like, whenever people, and I've learned that the hard way as well.
I have a story. Literally the other day, I put up this video saying, like, I have this video on confidence, and then and then people grabbed it, and then I tagged a couple people that I thought would enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And this one girl private messages me. If you're watching right now, hey darling. She private messaged me. She's like, Paloma, are you trying to say that, like, I'm not a confident person? Like, are you, like, she thought that she was being attacked. I was like, baby girl, I want to give you love. If it's not like your thing, it's totally fine. And she just thought it was like so, but here's the thing, guys. Okay, should I say this?
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't say, but
comment below if she should say this.
What are the chances that my little sister is watching this right now? Okay, I can't tell you who this is. I'm not gonna tell you if it's my little sister. But okay, so I said to her, she has this new boyfriend, and I said something to her about him that I kind of noticed that I thought was a little bit like, I don't know, like, you know, you're protective. Like, Lauren, you have siblings, right?
2 younger sisters. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm like,
so you're protective. You're like, you want to make sure that like your sisters get like creme de la creme, men or women or whatever they're into, you know?
Yep.
And so I like expressed like a little like doubt about her new boyfriend, and she like was really like pissed at me. She was really like, Paloma, like, why are you saying that? Don't be judgmental. Why are you criticizing him? You don't know him yet, blah, blah. Look, friends, I'm an extremely perceptive person. I can notice trace amounts of anything in anyone. That's part of being a good negotiator and salesperson. And so sometimes you know something about someone earlier than, you know, like I jokingly say I'm like 35% psychic, but the truth is if you notice certain patterns. So anyways, I expressed to her, perhaps I shouldn't have said it because her new boy, but whatever. Yeah. But the fact, and I said this to her, you ever find this that you start like coaching like your friends and family and they're like, fuck off. Like, I don't want to hear your coaching crap.
All the time. My sister and Ella, shout out Ella. Ella is in this group, so she watches this. Oh well. But totally like accidentally started coaching, like just in a regular conversation. She'll like ask me little advice on this thing, and I'm like, start asking her these deep questions, and she's like, okay, I get it.
I get it. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Literally. And so then my sister, like, I said to her, I'm like, look, I know that like you're feeling like defensive and you don't want like Paloma spiel right now, but if something provokes you, if something triggers you, then the real battle is between you and yourself. Because I'll give you an example, okay? So if Lauren says to me, Paloma, you're a dumb blonde, okay? Well, I'm not, I don't know. In some lights, I'm a little blonde, but I'm not really, right? And so for me, that won't really affect me because there's no part of me that has that belief, right? Or Paloma, you're not intelligent. There's no part of me that has that belief. And so I'll maybe be a little irritated, a little annoyed, but it won't trigger the shit out of me.
Right.
If something triggers you, then there's still a negotiation going on between you and you. And she later confessed, yes, I was a little worried about that myself. And I said, it's okay, darling. You're amazing. Like,
you're like, I know.
You know, and I don't know. I felt a little bad about it. I was like, maybe I shouldn't have said anything, but it's like you want to protect them. But all of this is to say, if someone triggers you, then they're just showing you yourself, you know? And this is the whole self-awareness component of confidence. When someone teaches you about yourself or gives you some information about yourself, there are 2 things you can do. There's the complete like denial, fearful, like defensive, F off, you don't know me, you don't know my story, like don't judge me kind of thing. And that is usually what comes out first to protect ourselves. Ego is there to protect ourselves. But then if you have the integrity within yourself, and confidence is really just your reputation with yourself. If you have a strong, loving, honest relationship with yourself, you can say, why is it that really triggered me? What in me feels that that's kind of true? And then when the negotiation between you and yourself is rock solid, trust me, friends, the secret to all sales. It's not a negotiation with you and your customer or you and your client. It's a negotiation with you and yourself. When you're 1,000,000% convinced that this is true, you have crazy in your eyes. And you can walk through walls. It's like the worst dictators in the world and the most incredible heroes in the world who were able to lead people, inspire people to massive action had one thing in common: massive conviction. You couldn't break their conviction. Why is Gary Vee the most persuasive man on the internet? Because you imagine if you're sitting in front of him, he'll spit on you. He's so excited and passionate, right? And it's not just about passion. It's about conviction that this is so true for me. I believe it so strongly that you transfer that conviction to other people. Now they believe it too. And it sends out this ripple effect in the world. So anyways, drop an emoji of like, if you think I was being a douche to my sister's boyfriend, because I feel a little bit bad. I apologized after.
But that just shows that you are an actual genuine coach, because the people in my coaching network, that all the coaches that I know personally, they're all a little bit tough love, and I personally believe that when you do have that kind of tough love that you give to your clients or your family members, that's when people get results though. Like, that is when people, they might get triggered, they might get a little pissed off in that second, but they'll come back around 180 degrees and go, you were right, or like, thank you so much for telling me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear. So like, I often say, even in my live streams in here, I'll say to my group members, like, hey guys, this is gonna be a little bit of tough love. This might not be what you want to hear. It's going to be what you need to hear. And I'm saying it from a place of love because I want to genuinely help you and, you know, help you remove XYZ problem or help you achieve XYZ. So I feel like the most genuine, authentic leaders are the people that do tell you what you need to hear, not always what you want to hear. So
yes. And you know what? That 1,000,000% perfectly connects to sales calls, because of the fact that so many leaders are pussyfooting around the elephant in the room. They don't say what needs to be said on a sales call. And I say this genuinely, like, because I want your good, that is my North Star, is your good. I am willing. I say, will you forgive me for being honest? I would rather be disliked and actually help you change than just actually feed my own ego of like, oh, you like me, you adore me, whatever. I will tell you the thing. And if you need to shoot the messenger, then fine. But that's genuine, like, real love. And the thing about like fear of selling on sales calls, you only fear it if you think you're in it for yourself.
Yep.
You like, you know, you should sell in the exact same way as you help the person you love most in the world pick out their multivitamin. So no big deal. Like, hey mom, why is it that you need this? What is it that's bothering you? What do you wish was better? You don't have an attachment to whether she picks like this brand or this brand. You just want to help her. And sometimes as what we would call a preemptive leader, a leader who actually is looking a couple steps ahead for their clients, you care more about leading them to the right option. Sometimes that's not you. Like, sometimes that's not you. Like, I'm not the person to come to for like, hey, help me scale my business. That's not me. I'm still working on funnels and all that shit. For me, I'm the sales confidence person, right? And so I so feel you about the whole tough love thing. It's for me, it's really about integrity.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, I'm looking at comments real quick. So, I love you guys. I'm so behind on comments. Thank you guys for just sharing your issues from
we will go back in and look at that after, definitely.
Yeah. Guys, let's take this opportunity now. Lillian's like, this is amazing. So much depth and substance. Can this go on forever? I cannot get enough of you two. You've got to be your own cheerleader. I so needed to be reminded that. Okay. Love you guys. Guys, let's take an opportunity right now. I know you guys want or probably have a lot of questions around sales. Paloma, I know one of the biggest things you do for your clients is to help them sell high ticket offers specifically. And a lot of people in this group, there are a lot of coaches and consultants that already have high ticket offers, but there's also a lot of service-based entrepreneurs who don't have high ticket offers and don't really know. Here's the biggest thing that I hear, and this is probably what you hear. How do I put together a high ticket offer that people actually want, and why would anybody buy such an expensive thing from me? Like, those are kind of the two objections I hear to people being able to sell a high ticket offer. So what do you, just let's talk on that for a minute.
Okay, good. I love this question. Actually, I have a video on this. Why is it that people would want to pay more when they could pay less? I would love you to drop in the comments. What do you think? Why would someone want to pay more when they could pay less? Okay, so we've got some of the obvious ones we could just throw out there. Price psychology, right? If I say to you, this bottle of sparkling water is so fancy, right? It is $9, but this stick of celery is only $1. I just have celery just in case, you never know when you need it. When you increase the price, you increase perceived value, okay? So one is people want the best. Not everybody. There are so many different kinds of clients and there's so many different kinds of consumers. There are some people who always want the DIY option. They will creep your stuff forever, and they'll always be the forever cheapie and freebie. And actually, I'm not going to hate on them. I know a lot of people hate on them. I'm not going to, because I come from a family of Romanians who like grew up poor, and they figured out the resourceful hustler way to do everything. Like, props to you if you're doing that. But there are also people who want the best of the best of the best of the best because they feel they deserve it, or because if they invest in the best of the best of the best, then they like how they feel about themselves. So I'll give you an example. Lauren and I were hanging out at Funnel Hacking in Florida. And Russell Brunson has this offer that is $25,000. And what do they get for that? I do not know. You get to suck his toes. You get to eat dinner with him. I don't know. Whatever.
Stare at him. You basically just stare at him for an hour.
He's like, I'm so famous. Just being in my orbit is worth $25,000. Okay. Now, a friend and I were kind of laughing about this offer. We're like, okay, like who's gonna, whatever.
Whatever. Yeah.
In storms my roommate, and he's like, you guys. I got the 25K offer. I'm so excited. And he got a badge. Did you know that grown-ups like status too? Do you know that grown-ups care about prestige too? You know that grown-ups care about where they fit on the hierarchy too? Did you know that grown-ups also want a sense of belonging and group membership? So you already get a badge if you go to funnel hacking, but guess what? You get a little bit more of a color stripe on your badge if you paid $25,000. And he was so proud. And of course, when you make a 25K investment in yourself, you don't just quietly pat yourself on the back. Oh no, you hop on social media and say, look what I did. I invested in myself. Like, I had another friend/mentor of mine who explicitly told me, Paloma, I'm looking for an expensive coaching program.
Okay.
Why did he say I'm looking for an expensive coaching program? Because expensive equals good, right? Valuable, good, perceived value, right? And so, you can literally like take, like, Lauren, what's your favorite kind of food? Like what would you eat if it was like your last day on this earth?
A pint of Ben & Jerry's vegan ice cream.
Okay, great. So you have like that amazing like vegan ice cream, right? And you could buy it in a grocery store for, let's say, what, like $6?
I would pay like $600.
What's your flavor, BTW? Like, what's your like?
What's it called? It's like the Oreo plus peanut butter.
Half baked?
No, it's like cookies and cream plus peanut butter, something like that.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It's insane.
Okay, so they like literally like you'd pay like $8 in a grocery store. But let's say you're in a Michelin star restaurant, right? And instead of getting a whole pint, they give you a tiny little scoop on a humongous plate with a big swirl of sauce, and out comes Emeril Lagasse to present it to you, and Wolfgang Puck, and that dude with red hair, Mario Batali, all these people. Guess what, guys? People don't just want to pay for the product. People want to pay for the experience and the emotional experience of that purchase, right? What does it feel like to say yes to a $200 offer? What does it feel like to say yes to a $2,000 offer? What does it feel like my roommate, bless his soul, and that mentor friend of mine who's like, I want to invest big. And I introduced him to someone that he ended up investing $25K with. Yeah. So there is, if you look at, here's everybody's homework, okay? Go on, you guys have Google? You know that? Go on Google Images, real fancy. And Google image Maslow's hierarchy of needs, okay? There are some very basic human needs that all people have across cultures. And one of their highest needs, other than self-actualization, aka do the shit that you know that you can do, right, is status, belonging, love, connection. It's one of our highest human needs. Yeah. And so if you can infuse your offer with a higher level of that, right, you could go get your essay edited on Craigslist. What is the emotional experience like? Not really anything. It's just a commodity. Yeah. But what if you have J.K. Rowling, whatever, edit your manuscript or your book? What does that feel like? How is the feeling different? And the truth is, it's not some cheap manipulation shit. These are basic human desires. And whether people know how to articulate it or not, you're often not selling what you think that you're selling. Mm-hmm. You're selling something different. And so if you're selling, let's say, a bowl of oatmeal, you're selling comfort. My mom will talk about this all the time. You know, if you're selling makeup, you're selling a feeling of self-esteem or whatever it is, confidence, right?
That is such, I just have to add something here because I learned that in February. So back when I launched my personal branding course, it was like the biggest epiphany that I had about a month later. So after the first round of enrollment, when people had already gone through most of the course, it was still in the beta round. So it was very short. There wasn't a ton of content yet. Everybody had gone through it. The student group was super active and people were posting like, this is my favorite part. This is my favorite module. I love this video. The underlying pattern that people were saying they got from the course was confidence.
Wow.
And I was like, it's a branding course. Like, but that was, I remember literally sitting here and I was like, I'm selling confidence. I'm selling confidence. I didn't market it that way. I didn't intentionally sell it that way, but I'm selling confidence. Yes. So yeah, it's crazy. So, but it's so true though. So if you guys like listen to what she just said, like if you like sit down and ask yourself, what are you selling? Right. But then look at what people have told you. So like, what have your past clients, your students, like, what have they actually told you that they took away most from your service or your product? Yes. It probably is something a little bit, maybe a lot different than what you think you're selling.
Yes. And a good way to brainstorm it, that's a great point. A good way to brainstorm it is to ask yourself, how did my best, favorite, most highly performing clients, how did they feel after working with me? Just ask yourself that question. Because, for example, okay, so I was in the market for someone to help me with my funnel, right? And I went on somebody's sales call the other day. And, you know, if you're a gynecologist, you see vaginas everywhere. If you're a movie watcher, you can't help seeing movie billboards everywhere. Okay, I was on this dude's sales call, and I teach sales calls. So, like, I'm thinking, like, how could a sales call be better, right? And it was interesting because the truth is, when it comes to technology, like, communication is my jam.
Yeah.
Technology, I feel, that's an area that I feel very vulnerable, you know, where it's like, I didn't have a computer for the first time until I did my master's degrees, guys. So like, I literally felt like really behind the game and kind of embarrassed that stuff that like I discovered Google Docs and I'm like, wow, like all this stuff that was so easy for me. I jokingly called myself like Amish. Like my mom was like, yeah, use like encyclopedias and get hobbies. And I'm like, hobbies is not fair, mom. I want the internet. But anyways, so I was on his sales call and the truth is he was talking about the actual, like, here's how I'm going to format your funnel, whatever.
Yeah.
But here's what he missed. That's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
That was the vehicle for the feeling that I wanted. And the feeling that I wanted was to feel supported. Mm-hmm. I wanted to feel like it wasn't me versus this technology monster that I couldn't handle. And so with enough loving, sensitive question asking, you'll find out what the emotional reality that underlies the purchase is. And that's what you sell to. The thing, it's not about the sparkling water. It's about how I feel at the top of the mountain, the accomplishment that I felt when I earned it, right?
Yep.
And so just to figure out what you're really selling. And the funny thing is, you know, we work so hard on all the logistics of our offer. Mm-hmm. Most of the high ticket stuff that I did early on, I never gave people like an outlined value stack. Yeah. People are like, Paloma, you exude confidence. I want to feel confidence. Let's work together. Yep. Did they say, hey, but what's going to be in session 1? What's going to be in session 2? They didn't care about the logistics of it. They cared about the feeling that they were going to achieve. So figure out, what is the feeling? Is it comfort? Is it safety? Is it relief? Is it, there are only two kinds of feelings. There's moving away from pain feelings and moving towards pleasure kinds of feelings. Is it that they don't want to feel overwhelmed anymore, but instead they want to feel in control? Is it, and don't be cliche with it, like get real deep in there. What's at heart of it? And, you know, be your little Dr. Phil and figure out who is the human that I'm dealing with. Because people don't want coaching. People don't want they want feeling.
That's the thing. That's what I've preached. I feel like I've preached this forever. And every time I say it, I'm like, oh, I'm just word vomiting all over people. Because I say this all the time, but it's so true. Is that people buy people. People don't want to work with somebody who feels like a script that, you know, somebody who's said the same thing over and over to a million different clients before, right? Yeah. People work with people. People want to work with you, right? A genuine human being. And that ties into the idea that people buy stories. They buy your why. They buy your values, right? They don't want to buy, you know, here's everything that's included. Here's, you get 60-minute calls. Like, people don't care
Who
about that.
gets excited about like, oh, look at this 37-minute call. I'm so excited. Like, and here's another thing for like making your high ticket package friends. Yeah. So many people are doing the commodity version. So many people are doing the like, one thing is the exact same as the other, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is, if you have the privilege to work with Lauren, you are getting a particular experience. If you have the privilege to work with Paloma, you're getting a particular experience. If you have the privilege to work with whoever it is, right? Yeah. If people are saying to you, but this other person is cheaper, think about Lady Gaga, whether you like her or not, right? Who's going to go to Lady Gaga and say, I would love you to perform at my cousin's wedding, but guess what? I found out that Britney Spears is a little bit cheaper, so can you lower your rate? That sounds ridiculous on a stick, okay? It just sounds ridiculous, because it is.
Nobody in their right mind, maybe unless, I don't know, maybe if you're high or drunk, I don't know, maybe you go ask Lady Gaga that, but like never in your right mind, at least not me, I would never walk up to Lady Gaga and be like, yeah, I'd love you to perform at my 21st, but
do you have a payment plan?
Yeah. Can you knock off 5 Ds? Like, can
you make it 49 easy payments of $99.97? Like, what the blank? Like,
can I have a lifetime payment plan?
Yeah. How many payments would you like to break this up into? Well, I'd like to pay one payment every 6 days for the next in perpetuity, forever.
Like, if I make it to 83.
I'm going to sell a couple quick things first, Lady Gaga, and then I'll work with you. Like, once you've decommodified yourself, you will know. And do you know how you know? Because you'll stop chasing. You'll start attracting, right? It's like you're reversing the direction of desire.
Yeah. And
there are lots of ways to decommodify yourself, right? Through branding is huge. Branding is a
story. Your story. This is what I tell everybody is that I don't care how many people sell something similar to you. I don't care if let's say you're a web designer. There's probably 5.5 million other web designers out there, but none of them have the same story that you have. Right. Maybe they have a rags to riches story. Maybe you do too. But you both probably didn't grow up on the same road and become homeless on the same day.
Ate a different can under the bridge. They ate peas, you ate corn.
Right. Or like they had a different brand of beans than you had. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And maybe they didn't wash those beans. Maybe they had a fart problem and they couldn't get any clients.
Exactly. And maybe like they were naked for a period of time and like you weren't.
And you weren't naked.
Your story is like completely different. Like, even if you feel like, oh, my story isn't good enough, or my story isn't crazy enough, or it's not good enough to be made into a movie, it doesn't matter. It's still a way to
commodify.
Yeah. Yourself from your competition, right? So your story is just one way, but that's my favorite way of making myself stand out is by sharing my story repeatedly. People get to eventually see my name and they attach my story to it and they go, oh, she's the girl that did XYZ, or she's doing XYZ. Like they get to associate you with your story and you immediately become different. You become, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And branding is an amazing one way to decommodify yourself. Another is through increasing the barrier of access. What does that mean? Make it more difficult to work with you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Increase the number of hoops that they have to go through. Remember this, friends, standards equal status. Okay. Status equals standards. So the perfect example of this is, have any of you guys watched that movie, Jiro Dreams of Sushi? Lauren, have you seen this by any chance?
No, I haven't.
Do you like sushi by any chance?
Yeah. Okay. It's not like up there with like Ben and Jerry's dairy-free ice cream.
Dairy-free for real?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you lactose?
No, I just dairy-free.
Love it, guys. We're going to go into that in our next live stream. Really deep dive.
Why Lauren is,
why she's dairy-free. So, but basically, what was it? Oh, Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Okay, so 7-Eleven sushi versus Jiro Dreams of Sushi. He's this 70-something-year-old, really adorable little Japanese man who has a Michelin star restaurant in like a subway station in Tokyo, I believe. Okay, and it's a documentary about him. He's like so cute. He looks like a little turtle. Okay, you know how like old people start to look a little bit like reptiles? Like he's reptile-y.
Like,
yeah.
Accent. Yeah.
Completely bald, just like you just want to give him a hug.
Yeah.
You want to trade in your grandpa, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, at this point, if you want to get a reservation, he has all kinds of hoops that you got to go through, and he has all of his rules, all of his stipulations. I was teaching negotiation before. If you have the longer list of terms, surprisingly enough, you often get what you want, right? So it's like, you know, so at Jiro's place, you're not allowed to wear perfume. You're not allowed to ask Jiro for a photo with him. You have to reserve 2 months in advance. I believe they don't have anything other than sushi, so like don't ask for drinks or dessert or whatever. There's a dress code. Barack Obama went there. Like there is there's a culture around it, you know? And when you increase your standards, then you increase your status, okay? And you don't have to wait until you're Lady Gaga level to start realizing that you ought to have your non-negotiables from the beginning, right?
Yeah. And that's why, it doesn't matter if you're not at the top yet, because this is what I hear from a lot of people in this group who are trying to build personal brands, is they say, well, I'm not where I want to be yet. I don't have the best client results yet, right? I'm not an expert yet. But there's no right time, or there's no status that you have to hit in order for you to start defining these non-negotiables or making yourself less accessible, you know? Do it now. Do it earlier than you think is okay. You know what I mean? The sooner you do it, the sooner you become unique. You stand out, you know?
Right. You want to begin as you intend to continue.
Yes.
Interesting fact, Dan Locke, who's another of these like high ticket dudes, right? He tells the story of when he first started. So I don't know if you guys can relate to this, whether it's a weight thing or you have an accent or you're an introvert or there's something that you feel like is a strike against you. Okay. Well, he's from Hong Kong, had a pretty thick accent, but he was, you know, speaking in English. And he said that he did like 500 cold calls when he started, and that it was like bad and it was embarrassing and he like barely got any clients out of it, whatever. But for him, then when people started wanting to work with him, he literally, I think this is such a funny story. He would like slam down, he'd be like, sorry, I'm busy, I can't, slam down the phone. Mind you, he did not have anyone. And so it was really like, I'm not suggesting that you do this, but I am suggesting that you start thinking of yourself as an expert, as the confident leader of process, as the person who puts your client's best interests first before you have the everything to back that up, right? You have to like, there is part of this game that's like, you put on a pair of clothes, what do you call it? Put on an outfit, whatever. I guess English is not my first language today. You put on an outfit that's a little bit too big on you, and then you grow into it. Then you put on a bigger outfit, and then you grow into it. That's what snails do.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Do snails do that? Lobsters?
Shell, I get it. I get the analogy. I get it. We get it. We get you. I got you. But honestly, that's the thing. And if like, I wish somebody had sat me down earlier and actually gave me the advice that sometimes you don't want to just, this might ruffle some feathers. Sometimes you don't want to just be yourself. You actually want to embody the person that you want to eventually be. So what I mean by that is like, when I started thinking, like, I was like, you know what? Okay, one of my first milestones I knew would feel good was crossing 6 figures revenue in my business. So I was like, okay, when I was thinking that, I still had my issues around selling and sales. And I was like, okay, 6-figure business owner wouldn't have these issues. They wouldn't be sitting here questioning themselves as an expert. They wouldn't be sitting here questioning whether they're good enough or whether their client results are good enough to raise their prices and all these issues I had. So I sat down and I was like, a 6-figure business owner wouldn't be thinking like this. I have to think like the 6-figure business owner. So I started really embodying that, encompassing that. And that's when my mindset grew. It's also when my business grew, lo and behold. So yeah, it's the same idea.
Yeah, and it's okay, like, surround yourself with people. This is the thing, you need to desensitize yourself to the things that you want, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I have this practice that sounds a little weird, but I call it joy yoga, right? So it's like, the truth is, most people struggle with receiving.
Yeah.
Whether it's in, let's say, romantic relationships, whether it's with client relationships, whether it's with family relationships, right? Most people struggle with receiving.
Yeah.
And so what we want to do is actively and on purpose, at least once a day. My favorite saying in the world is life will get as good as you can stand. Mm-hmm. So I want you to practice standing more goodness.
Yeah.
If you struggle with, let's say, relationship stuff, take a moment. Are you brave enough to, in your own mind, experience it? You don't have to experience it out in the world, but can you experience what it feels like to receive a 10K transfer? Yeah. Can you experience that in advance? Because all of your shit will come up. When you do that, when you do this joy yoga, see if you can stand 60 seconds of what you want. Because how can we sustain a life of what we want if we can't even stand the idea of like complete freedom, traveling whenever the hell we want, whatever it is, or whatever your North Star is? Yeah. And so there's this awesome book, Psycho-Cybernetics. Big fancy title, but basically the dude was a plastic surgeon. Mm-hmm. He didn't really understand. He's like, hey, I fixed your nose. Why are you still not confident? And like, duh, it was because your mental concept of yourself didn't grow in accordance to the external, right? This happens all the time. And I've seen this with clients too. They grow and then they freak out because this is not what's supposed to be. They shrink back. They say, no, I am not deserving and worthy of this. They say no thank you to it and they hand it back and they self-sabotage. Mm-hmm. It's because our mind, our capacity for receiving the goodness has not yet caught up to the external circumstances that we've been able to produce. Yeah. And so practicing standing in the fire, funny, but good feelings can be harder than bad feelings. A lot of us, especially who have issues, baggage, trauma, which honestly is the majority of us, you know? I used to think it was just like, oh, my family had like painful stuff growing up. Yeah. No, like, my mom was like, look, Paloma, don't compare your insides to someone else's outsides. Yeah. Social media is a parade of outsides, but the truth is everybody's had shit that they'd be embarrassed about or that they're shameful or that they have stuff, you know?
Yeah. That's so true. Yeah. So let's see. I'm just reading some comments really quick. So Amanda said, most people don't realize that the point of fake it till you make it is 100% for your mindset. I've seen a lot of people use it as an excuse to lie about their capabilities, but it's supposed to be an internal perception change, not an outward claim of skills that they don't have. Mm-hmm. That's why there are so many people against fake it till you make it. But Lauren, the way you said it is exactly how it should be used. And that's what thanks for making my words sound even more beautiful, Amanda. Just kidding. But that's the idea. That's really is the idea is, that's such a strong, I feel like I could make a post about that and it would get like a lot of, it would kind of trigger a lot of people if I said sometimes you don't want to just be yourself, or sometimes the best advice isn't to be yourself.
Right.
And when I say be, I mean encompass, right? So encompass the confidence of the business owner that you want to be a year from now, right? So encompass the confidence that you want to be, or that you want to have a month from now, or even next week, I don't know, or on your next sales call, right?
And you know, the interesting thing is all of this is not about tactics. Like, this is the thing. So many people do sales training. Yeah. And then like they get all the tactics in the world. Then they're like, Paloma, I don't know why it's not working. Because there's tactics and then there's state. Yeah. Like, when you're so convinced of something that you can like walk through walls and like, you know, sell a piece of celery to another piece of celery, you know, like you can do freaking anything that you want. Right. But the thing is that most people are focusing on tactics rather than their state. Mm-hmm. And there is a lot of internal work to be done in terms of embodying that. But absolutely, there are ways that we can, you know, live in the reality that we want to increase and continue to perpetuate. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I feel like I need a drink of water because this is getting really deep. Guys, are you really enjoying this? Can you just drop a little teeny tiny thank you for Paloma for coming on here and talking to me and just having you guys listen. But I really, Write in the comments below. Okay, this is another thing that I want to do just because, like, Lauren, I know that you get like love from your peeps all the time, but I want to put this in the comments. Write in the comments, what is something amazing about Lauren that you don't think that she yet knows is amazing about her? Like, you know that like song, like, you don't know you're beautiful? It's like, okay, like we know that we're like sexy as fuck, but what is something about Lauren that she doesn't yet know is amazing about her? And throw that in the comments below. And throw something in the comments below that's amazing about you guys. Let's celebrate you.
Okay. Let's do also while they're answering that. Let's do a little interview style because you want to do that at the beginning and we just way off in some other world. So I don't know. So Paloma, if you could choose one place to, I don't know, to spend the next month in, where would it be?
Ooh, that's such a good question. So Mia and my sis when we were, so we spent the weekend on the beach and we were like, hey, how about instead of doing Canadian winter, we do a summer winter? So like we just completely skip winter. And last night she was researching for us and she's like, how about Barbados? And I'm like, let's go chill with Rihanna. Or she's like, how about Spain? Guys, if you've been to Spain and you want to give me some advice about places to go, I'll tag my sister because I am not the trip planner. My sister literally delegates to me. She does all the planning, all the hotels, all the flights, whatever. I'm like, what can I do? And she's like, magazines and plain snacks. So I get the best plain snacks in the world. But we're thinking of potentially going to Spain for a couple months. But New York is really my place, I feel like. I love it. I just came back from there, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago. I was there for a month, but it was amazing.
Yeah, guys, Paloma was literally going to live with a man.
Oh my God, should we tell them?
Can I share? I'm going to share this. I don't
care.
Please do. I'm going to share this. Paloma asked, well, she didn't really ask for my input. I kind of told her.
Yeah.
Not. But she messaged me and she was like, actually, I don't even know how the conversation started. I think I gave her like, here's a couple websites you can use to like find some sublets and like find a place to live. And she was like, oh, thank you.
Good news.
She's like, oh, no. Thank you. But I'm in contact with a single old man. He's about 60 or something like that. Has a pit bull and I might just live with him. And I'm like, okay, like just as long as you didn't find him on Craigslist, then I support that. And she's like, no, I found him on Craigslist. And I'm like, you're joking, right? I'm like, I can't let you.
Guys, you can see that Lauren is #big sister and I'm legit middle sister because my sister said the same thing, like, what the actual fuck? But for me, I was like, when you like kind of leave it last minute because I wasn't sure if I was going to extend. And so then I was like, Lauren, I've got the place. It's amazing. So the only thing is, it's with like this like 45-year-old guy. He seems a little bit shady, but don't worry. He has a sweet little pet to protect us. It's a pit bull. And good news is I'll have his bedroom and he's going to be sleeping in the living room.
It's more like he has a pit bull he has a pit bull as his guard dog for when the FBI shows up to the front door because somebody made a call that there was some, a gunshot or something. Like that's like the beginning of a Criminal Minds episode. Maybe
I know.
I'm like, I can't let you.
I looked him up on like YouTube or something, and like maybe someone else has his name, but like, anyways, Lauren saved my life, guys. So
basically, she's only here because I didn't let her live with that creep in New York.
With Pitbull, man. And I texted him at the end after all of my amazing female friends were like, Plum, fucking don't do that. I texted him like, I am so sorry. Upon further review, I have decided to pass on this. And he literally just like did not answer me.
Oh, rude. Not good enough. No, that's when your confidence is to come into play and you're like, well, he wasn't good enough for me.
Right. You're like, you're Pitbull. I'm going to find a way better 40-year-old man with a way better Pitbull. So peace.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. Okay, well.
Okay, I have a question for you, and then maybe we should tell them a little bit about what's been cooking up.
Okay, sorry. Whenever somebody says to me right now, like the phrase, like, oh, what have you been cooking? All I can think about is like baby, because people are always like, put it in the oven. You're cooking the baby for longer than it should be. I'm like, oh my God. So
I legit always ask I only have, I think, a few female friends with a kid, but really? Like the idea of childbirth like freaks me out. And I just want to know, like, on a scale from 1 to 10, like, how bad is it? Is it as bad as they say? Because, like, my mom popped 4 out, and
I will say this.
Yeah.
Nothing could have prepared nothing prepares, I'm going to talk to you, nothing prepares you, or nothing could possibly prepare you for childbirth. I have a for those of you guys that don't know this part of my background, I have a dance background. So I've danced since I was 3 years old. I have a very, very, very high pain tolerance. I tore muscles in my hips when I was 16, and I ran through an entire cross country season in high school with the torn muscles because I was too stubborn to get surgery. So I have a very high pain tolerance, and I was like, you know what, my goal was natural labor. Didn't want pain medication. Like, that's the mindset I went into it with, and I ended up having back labor. And for those of you guys that don't really know, back labor is pretty much when you feel like 95% of your contractions in the back rather than the front. So most women, you feel your contractions in the front, right? It's like the tightening of your uterus and XYZ. But I had back labor, which is like basically excruciating pain the entire duration of your labor. It's not like contractions that come and go. It's like just pain that just does not leave. And it's in your back. So I ended up having that, and you don't know if you're going to have back labor until you're actually in labor. So I ended up having that. It was absolutely excruciating, and ended up having no pain medication though, because that was I could have done it without my nurse. She was actually very much like you, Paloma, in the sense where like she saw where I was about to give up, and I literally asked for an epidural at one point, and I was like, I was telling Daniel, I'm like, go get her. I can't do this. I want the epidural. And she came in and she looked at me with conviction, and she was, and she was so confident, right? This is a great example. She was so confident. She looked at me and she's like, you're almost there. Wow. And literally, I actually had the baby in the next hour and a half, I think. So I really was almost there. But she looked at me and she's like, you're almost there. Actually, I think what she said to me was like, you're 8 centimeters dilated and you got to be 10 to push a baby out. So she was like, you're 8 centimeters. You're literally almost there. Yeah. And it was just this, like, the littlest bit of reassurance that I needed to push me over the edge and go, okay, fine. So even like the nurse with the epidural, she was in there, like ready to go. Like, she was next to the bed. She was ready to give it to me. And the nurse was the only person that made me just stop. Wow. And I was like, okay, all right, fine. And I ended up having the natural birth that I wanted, and she was healthy and everybody was okay. But overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 11 and a half.
How long was the whole thing?
I was induced. So I ended up being induced, which I was absolutely terrified for. So here's a little vulnerable thing. I was absolutely terrified to be medically induced. I wanted to avoid that at all costs, but I was 9 days overdue, which in pregnancy world feels like 9 years. I was 9 days overdue, and my OB was like, we just want to induce you to be safe. And I was like, oh. So like I came home that night, I was in tears. I was like, Daniel, I can't do this. I don't want to have any medicine. I don't want to go, I just want to go into labor naturally. But they were like, no, we want to induce you. Yeah. So I went in at 10 p.m. It was kind of like a 2-step induction. And the first step was, at 10 p.m. and the contractions started, but were very light overnight. And I pretty much slept through the night. So it wasn't active labor, but it was like the first part of the induction. Yeah. And I ended up having Stella at 2:55 p.m. the next day. So like overall it was, I don't know. It was only like 6 hours of active labor though when I was in excruciating pain. So it was a semi-short labor overall. I can't believe I'm sitting here and telling my labor story.
No, I honestly, seriously, okay, in that period that we knew you were going to like pop for a while, I was going on your page, like getting ready for the post, and sort of like, I don't pray, but I sort of like sent a little like good vibrations into the universe. Like, Lauren is really small. Make sure that like it doesn't kill her. Like, just healthy, happy baby. And you did it. You're a badass. I can't believe you did that without pain meds.
It's insane.
Why did you want to do without pain meds? Just because
I have really high expectations of myself.
For me, I like day one, just before I get pregnant, like, just while I'm having sex, just throw me an epidural just in case,
The epidural. Yeah, no, I was like, because I don't know. I kind of have the mindset of like, go big or go home with whatever I do. And I'm just like,
don't be a failure when you have this baby.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not going to fail. I'm like, epidural means failure. No, I wasn't that bad. But I really did just have that mindset where, and I'm very natural, like all around. I don't really pop like Tylenol or Advil. Like I'm very I'm pretty holistic. So,
Right.
you know, the whole hypnobirth, you know, calm breathing, that all went out the window. But
Yeah. If you did it again, would you do it the same way?
what?
If you-
Yeah, yes, I would. Yeah. And
Wow.
that's the thing. Like, it's crazy. It's one of those experiences where you kind of, like, right afterwards, I looked at Daniel and I'm like, I'll do it again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's like, yeah. So yeah, for those of you guys that don't have kids, like, you'll do it once and you'll be like, I can do that. Like, it's